Welcome back to Crypto Toro. On today's video, I would like to talk about MATIC, but before doing so, I would like to show you my Twitter, and for sure what I would highly appreciate is if you could follow me on Twitter as well at Thorough Crypto, where you will be held up to date about all the upcoming development on the YouTube channel, and as well you will be kept up to date about all the development on the charts. So please follow on Twitter, it will be highly appreciated, and let's get started. So if we take a look at the MATIC compared to Bitcoin chart, what I can clearly see is that we are right now creating this higher low structure. I think that is of course very important, but for sure as well this higher high structure, you can clearly see that we have been creating slightly higher highs and also slightly higher lows, and that is for sure for me very important. Due to that fact, I will be placing as well this trend line just to take a look where we could be possibly finding support on top. As you can see clearly, we might be seeing a minor slightly drop towards the downside on the strength compared to Bitcoin, find support on top of this upward sloping support line and perhaps head even further up. I think personally this is very likely to occur, but right now I'm just very closely monitoring this upward sloping support to see if we are going to hold strong on top of it. So very important to me how this currently looks like. Also, I would like to discuss the moving averages. If you take a look at the moving averages and we zoom in a little bit closer, you can clearly see that we are right now getting supported by the 100-day moving average that served previously as a resistance. You can clearly see that we got rejected by the 100-day moving average once we saw this major spike towards the upside. Afterwards, we went all the way towards the downside. We found support on top of this ascending support. Afterwards, we saw this major spike after the retest, and right now we are experiencing once again a slight level of resistance due to the fact that the latest daily candle actually started underneath the 100-day moving average and right now is still trading underneath it. So we might be experiencing some resistance of this 100-day moving average, and also due to the fact that we are seeing this minor downtrend on the XRP strength compared to Bitcoin, we might be heading towards a retest of this ascending support line before we head even further towards the upside. Also, I wanted to discuss the MACD. Before doing so, I will be removing the moving averages so we could have a clearer look, but I will be enabling the MACD on the daily time frame. You can clearly see that we started some downward momentum during the past couple of days. Actually, on the exact date of the 26th of August, we saw this crossover on the MACD on the daily time frame, and we are right now seeing actually what the consequences are, and that is that we started a minor downward momentum. I think personally this is not very significant, especially because right now we are also experiencing some type of support on top of previous resistance. You can clearly see that we are trading right on top of this orange level of support and resistance. So I think this is very important and very strong level of support and resistance, as you can clearly see in the past as well. But as I said previously, I don't think this level will be holding strong. We will be heading, personally, I think, towards the retest of this ascending support, and that is something I wanted to show you. So I would like to go a little bit further towards the MATIC compared to USD chart to show you a little bit more about the price action during the upcoming days. So let's take a look at the MATIC compared to USD chart. Firstly, what I would like to show you is for sure this uptrend. We have seen clearly a momentum change. We saw clearly a trend reversal getting started. Once we saw this point in time, we started to increase the price, and right now we have clearly seen an uptrend on the MATIC price action. I'm very glad that we saw this occur, and right now I'm just taking a look at MATIC and thinking what could possibly occur. So before doing so, I would like to enable the moving averages. You can clearly see that we are right now getting supported by the 50-day moving average. I think this is of course a very important level, and you can clearly see that once we broke above the 200-day moving average, went even further up, we found support on top of the 100-day and 50-day moving average before we saw a major increase in its price action, and I think that is very likely to occur once again. So if we will be able to find support on top of the 50 and 100-day moving average, we might see a major increase once again that could be possibly similar to the previous increase in its price action, and that would be an increase of approximately 60%. So for sure, I'm happy if this would occur, and I think a lot of MATIC holders will do so as well. So almost 60% increase. It depends on how you measure it. Right now it's a 58% increase, but I still think this is very, very relevant and something you would not like to miss out on. So right now, MATIC, it looks very good to me. I think it's very bullish, and that is why I would like to enable the 4-hourly time frame and disable the moving averages. On the 4-hourly time frame, I would like to start actually by taking a look at the RSI, because I noticed something very interesting. If you take a look at the RSI right now, what I think is of utmost importance is that we are clearly seeing, if you ask me personally, I think this is a major bullish divergence. For sure, lots of people might not agree with me, but right now, if you take a look at, for example, this point in time, for example, right over here, we were far below where we are currently at. The price action was way further down, and right now we are creating lower high structure in comparison to this previous low, and we are clearly seeing that we are starting a lower high structure. And if we take a look at that point in time as well on the RSI, we are clearly forming this lower low on the RSI, and I personally think this is a major bullish divergence that will play eventually itself out. And why I think this is still a bullish divergence that does count on this chart is due to the fact that we are actually looking at the RSI on the 4-hourly time frame. For sure, if we took a look at the RSI, for example, on the 1-hourly time frame, I would not count this as a major bullish divergence. But right now, I personally think that it is very likely that we will be seeing a spike, an increase in the price action of MATIC, but also not just due to that we are seeing this bullish divergence. If you ask me, of course, I think this is still a very clear bullish divergence, but also due to the fact that we are heading towards the oversold territory on the RSI, and once we break below this dotted line on the lower part of the purple area, we will for sure see a increase in MATIC's price action, and I think that it will very likely occur during the upcoming days, especially because, as I said previously, I think we will still see slightly downward momentum during the upcoming hours and days, perhaps before heading even further up, because I would like to see a retest as well of that level of support, ascending support on the Bitcoin chart as well. If we place a trend line on this chart over here at the US dollar chart, and for example place the trend line at this point in time, you can also clearly see that if we place the trend line, that we are right now getting supported by this level. So on the US dollar chart, we actually have already seen this retest of this upward sloping support or ascending support, and perhaps we might already start seeing a increase in MATIC's price action. But of course, that is something that just has to play itself out during the upcoming days. Right now, what we are currently seeing in the short term is that we are still creating a lower low structure. This is a lower low, this as well, and the fourth one over here. So we have already seen 4 lower lows getting created, and perhaps we might not be able to hold strong on top of this level of ascending support, but I personally think it will hold strong, especially due to the fact that we perhaps might see an increase as well on this trend compared to Bitcoin. So who knows? Let's take a look as well at the EMA ribbon, but before doing so, I would like to show you my YouTube channel, and what I would highly appreciate if you could give me a thumbs up down below if you're liking the content so far, and if you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. So if we take a look at the EMA ribbon, clearly we broke below it. We are experiencing some major moment of resistance underneath it. We were rejected by it once we tried to break above it, and we have to experience some major resistance underneath. So perhaps we might be heading towards a retest once again of the EMA ribbon, and we might be seeing a second bounce all the way towards this ascending support before heading even further and being able to break above the EMA ribbon. So that is something I wanted to show you as well. And lastly, I would like to actually talk about the MACD. If we take a look at the MACD on the 4-hourly time frame, what personally gives me a lot of confidence right now is actually that we are right now seeing a previous downward momentum on the MACD that is almost getting ended. So if we are able to hold strong on top of this ascending support, I personally think that a crossover on the 4-hourly time frame will be inevitable, and for sure will have a major impact on MATIC's price action, and we might be able to find support on top of the EMA ribbon once we eventually break out above it. So this is actually my conclusion right now, how MATIC's price action is looking, and I won't be giving any type of breakout scenario right now during this video, due to the fact that I personally think that it's very good to just take a look at the basics right now and just be careful with MATIC and wait actually until we see a major spike above the EMA ribbon, find support on top of it, and as well being able to stay on top of this ascending support. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you like the content so far, do not forget to give me a thumbs up down below, and thank you very much for your support. Have a nice day.
The bank sucks, so we're saying goodbye, messing all their plans up. We having a good time in DeFi.